All right, let's get started. Welcome. My name is Chrissy Wozniak, and I am the founder of North American Ag. We have two podcasts and a daily news site for the agriculture industry. North American Ag Spotlight comes out once a week as a podcast, and What Color Is Your Tractor? That's also a monthly podcast. Those are our two podcasts, and as I said, we have daily news. We hold webinars. Really try to create resources for farms and agribusiness. And we are also a full service marketing agency. So we do social media management, websites, all of that stuff. And also we specialize in marketing automation. So hence the webinar today is leveraging marketing automation for your agribusiness. I get questions every single day about marketing automation and how it can help their company run more smoothly and profitably. So that's why we are holding this webinar. So let's jump in. So what you're going to learn today: understanding marketing automation, what it is, how it works, the benefits of marketing automation for agribusiness, getting started with marketing automation. How do you make those decisions? How do you get started? Where do you even begin? Creating effective automated workflows, personalization and customer engagement. That's what marketing automation is all about, is getting that customer a personalized experience within your company. And then data-driven decision-making. So very important to measure the results of anything that you're doing for your company. And then we're going to end with a Q&A session. And feel free to put in questions throughout as you think of them, and we'll address them in the Q&A section of Zoom there, and we'll address them at the very end. And then at the end, we also have an announcement to make too. So hang in there. So here are some things that you're not going to learn today on this webinar. You're not going to learn what specific marketing funnels that you should create. So you can really only decide that within your company. Every single company is different, and there's really no cookie cutter stamp. So we're not going to talk about specific funnels. We will talk about some examples of funnels that we've created in the past, but I'm not going to tell you exactly which ones to make. Not going to tell you how to bypass planning and still succeed. You absolutely need to have a plan first to be able to succeed. Nothing ever just happens easy like that in life. I think we can all agree. We're also not going to learn that there's one way to go about your marketing strategy. You have to have a marketing strategy that fits your company and your unique product and your company size and where you fit in the market and what your goals are in terms of market share as well. So your ambitions. So there is not one way. Sorry, but that's all there is to it. We gotta create a plan and go from there. So for anybody that needs to really understand what marketing automation is, the definition is the use of software and technology to automate and streamline marketing tasks, segment audiences, deliver personalized content, and analyze data for more efficient and effective marketing campaigns. That says it all right there. So before we really jump into the nuts and bolts, I always teach the 2 rules of marketing. These are my golden rules that every company we work with, we have to follow these 2 rules. Number 1, you need to create a clear, concise message and distribute it consistently over time. So it's never set it and forget it. It is, it's not just randomly promoting a widget or a product or a service. You have to create a message that is going to resonate with your customers. And then you don't just send it out once. You don't just publish a website and hope it sells something. You need a plan to distribute that message consistently over time. Very, very important. And then the other one is, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. This is my favorite quote from Zig Ziglar, one of my heroes. And he's so true, so right. You must set goals and then purposefully execute the plan. So you'd never, especially with marketing automation, you can't just begin and say, marketing automation is done. Now see what happens. No, you have to have a plan. So when you are refining that message, when you're creating that clear, consistent message, you need to really get to the heart of your company. So Donald Miller is an author who I really enjoy. He wrote a book called Building a Story Brand. I highly recommend you reading this, even if you're not in the marketing department, even if you are president or CEO or anybody, even salespeople can learn from this book. Excellent book. But he says Alfred Hitchcock defined a good story as life with the dull parts taken out. Good branding is the same. Our companies are complex for sure, but a good messaging filter will remove all the stuff that bores our customers and will bear down on the aspects of our brand that will help them survive and thrive. Nobody wants to know where your washrooms are located in your company, right? We have to distill out all of the parts that are boring, and we just focus on what is relevant to the customer when you are developing your message. Another quote from Donald Miller is, your website is likely the first impression that a potential customer will receive about your company. It's almost like a first date. The customer simply needs to know that you have something they want and that you can be trusted to deliver whatever it is. So any initial visit, any initial first initial time that a lead interacts with your company, you need to treat it like it's a first date. Don't be a weirdo. Don't try to ask them to marry you. You need to back up, be respectful, and build trust first. So that's all very important kind of groundwork before we start getting into marketing automation. So you have to answer the question, why does my company exist? Why are you there? What do? You may build stalls in dairy barns, but you don't just build stalls in dairy barns. You're part of the cow comfort industry, right? And why do cows need to be comfortable? Cows need to be comfortable because they produce more milk. Well, why does the farmer want to produce more milk? Of course, to increase profit and to feel good about what they do every day, knowing the cows are comfortable. So it's a lot more than just stalls. So really drill down to why your company exists. And while you're developing your messaging, think about a few things. Define your brand, define your target audience. Now, this is integral to starting out on your marketing automation journey. You need to define who your customer is so that you can target them. What does your customer love about your product? Sometimes it might not even be something that you think about right away. It could be your location because it's convenient. It could be because you have parking. It could be, there are a million different reasons why a customer loves your product. So you need to figure those out. And then what do they hate? What is it that there is no parking, or they don't like a particular color, or they don't like, have the placement of the logo in their barn? Who knows? But you do need to ask these questions, and that can help steer your company. And then how can you become a trusted advisor in your field? That's so important. That is the main question before you start your marketing automation process. As you're building this framework, the structure underneath, how can you have that mindset of a trusted advisor in your field? You've got to stop selling and you have to start educating. But caution, the goal is to be personal, educational, and focus on developing a strong relationship based on permission. So when I talk about email campaigns, email marketing, a lot of companies right away go, oh no, we don't want to be emailing people. We don't want to be spamming people. No, of course you don't want to be spamming people. You need to get their permission, and then you have to give them good content. So if you think about clearing out your email inbox every day, there are emails you look forward to, and then there are ones that you delete or unsubscribe. Everyone has a curated list of emails that, or even texts. If you use, a lot of companies are moving into SMS, text messaging, advertising, and there are very few people that I want texting me. Of course, we're all like that. Yeah, that is a huge level of trust. But I'll tell you, I'm a big fan of happy hour. So the local, one of the local restaurants in town has happy hour deals. They text me, and I'm happy about that. So building a relationship based on permission is important. And we're going to talk about that in depth a little bit more. Another author that I love, one of my heroes, is Seth Godin. He wrote a book called Permission Marketing a long time ago, before any of these tools existed. He was kind of a pioneer of marketing, really. If you go to my website, chrissywozniak.com, or you can go to chrissy.info, you'll see a tab there that says what to read next. And there's a list of books that I recommend for business and marketing there. So this book is definitely on that list. And we're going to talk about, go through some of his quotes to really understand what permission marketing means. Permission marketing turns strangers into friends and friends into loyal customers. It's not just about entertainment, it's about education. Permission marketing is curriculum marketing. Creating value through interaction is far more important than solving a consumer's problem in 30 seconds. Nobody wants the solution thrown in their face. They want a partner to work through their problems and build that trust. Frequency led to awareness, awareness to familiarity, familiarity to trust, and to trust, almost without exception, leads to profit. I love that one. Back when I was a kid, the stat was you'd have to see a brand about 14 times before you would recognize it. Now I've heard that number is upwards, some say upwards closer to 500 times before you actually recognize it, because we're in such a busy world and we are just bombarded with messages all of the time. So as you're setting this framework for marketing automation, you have to know that your message has to be out frequently, has to be create that awareness, and then create the trust. And then, just as Seth Godin says, trust leads to profit. So think about that as we jump in. You can create dozens or even hundreds of paths for an individual to follow from the first contact until the highest level of permission is granted. And this is true. I have built hundreds and hundreds of paths for customers in my career. And it is amazing working with a team who can really dream about that perfect path that answers all of the questions, that takes that client from just curiosity to educated and then turns them into a customer. It's very satisfying. So with all of the digital choices, how do you decide? How do you decide where you're going to start? Before we talk about the technical part, but where are we going to place our message? Social media, of course. You have to embrace social media. And video content is very popular these days. Excellent way to get your message out. Your website content is so important, especially making sure that you have new content all of the time, whether that's a blog or news or article based. Be sure that you are updating your website. Email drip campaigns, like I said, it can't be crap. It can't just be, the company newsletter anymore. That doesn't cut it. It has to be relevant information that, for example, if you are a farm who is selling direct to table, you need to show them how your product is making their family more healthy. If you are a manufacturer, you have to not just be saying, oh, we have this new product. You have to be helping educate how they maintain that product throughout the seasons. So there's you have to be creative. You can't just put out your company newsletter. Online ads are another that you should be embracing. And that we could do an entire webinar just on that. Retargeting is how it feels like you're being followed all the time when you're browsing the internet and going on Facebook. We're going to talk about that specifically a little bit later. Print ads, yes, there are still print ads that do well. SEO is very important. That's search engine optimization. It's how you get ranked in Google, how you get ranked higher, and in-person events. And especially, I would say in our industry, we are still a handshake industry. I know the pandemic tried to put a damper on all of that, but going to events since then, you can see that we still do embrace these in-person events, seeing each other, and producers like kicking tires. So, and talking, being with their friends and looking at the actual equipment. So we still do have to assign some value to in-person events for sure. Sponsorships are a great way to get out there, and then your print material for your company. So when you think about that long list that we just talked about, that's a long list that will keep a marketing team busy for obviously the life of your business. So how do you get all of this done, right? That's so many areas you need to be thinking about, and not equally, but you do need to figure out where you're going to allocate dollars for each of these things. Well, that's where marketing automation and the benefits of our marketing automation come in. Once you implement marketing automation, where you're kind of feeding all of this into a system, a well thought out system, number one, it's going to serve your company. I don't know how many company owners and managers and workers feel like they're always just serving all of the tasks. Well, the process should serve your company instead of the other way around. We shouldn't be serving the process, but that takes energy. It's also going to increase profit. And in an industry where profit margins are sometimes so slim, you know, if you are a feed mixer company and you have 10 other feed mixer companies and you need to raise your price, well, that's tight. That's a big decision. But if you are reducing waste in your company and you're making your processes more efficient, you can increase profit there. You can reduce manpower, you can reduce automation, can do a lot of things. So that's, you know, the main three benefits of marketing automation. And then this personalized engagement that we spoke about, which the quotes from both Donald Miller and Seth Godin, is this idea of personalized engagement. With personalized engagement, you get improved customer experience. Personalization tailors your marketing message and content to individual customer preferences and behaviors. You get increased relevance. Personalized marketing ensures that the right message reaches the right person at the right time. Enhanced customer retention. Personalization can foster a sense of loyalty and attachment to your brand. Better ROI. Personalization can reduce wasted advertising spend on audiences that are unlikely to convert. I'm sure every marketer out there has put out an ad campaign on, say, Facebook, for example, or Twitter, and you go and look at the results and you can see that they totally missed the mark on the audience. And you look through the results and you're like, why would they even show my ad to that person? That person was not in my audience. So by creating kind of an in-house segmentation, you can really reduce those wasted dollars. Reduced ad fatigue. In this world, as I said before, we're saturated with marketing messages all day, every day. Generic advertisements can quickly become annoying or go unnoticed. So by really personalizing that engagement, you can definitely reduce that. And then this personalized engagement also has data-driven insights. Personalization relies on data collection and analysis. And we're going to get more into that later as well. But asking questions and gathering data on those people and what they like and what they dislike is a foundation of marketing automation. So let's go through a few real-world examples of how marketing automation serves agribusiness. So say you sell grooved concrete flooring and you work in different segments. You work in dairy barns, you work in beef barns, and you work in sheep and goat, let's say. So you finish a job, it's in a dairy barn, and you have an open house event. So how long would it take to personally invite everybody in your database? It would take a while. You need some sort of software to help you with that. So if when those people come into your system, they're choosing on your forms, on your contact forms, and on your drip campaigns who they are. Now you have a ready-built list at all times of all of the dairy farms in your database of customers. And now you can send them an invitation. You can send them reminders. You can send them follow-ups. You can send them all the way down this funnel to trying to set a meeting with them to talk about their floor. And this can be set up ahead of time, and you hit play and it all just moves forward by itself. Another good example is manufacturers. And when they decide that it's time for some real dealer growth, and they want to not only grow, but also do some distributor training as they're growing, marketing automation is perfect in these situations. So first of all, they would be out there with all of their outreach, with their social media and on their website, trying to attract the right distributors. Then they would vet them through some drip campaigns. Then they would take them right through to closing and becoming a dealer. And then they would also start training. So good software can do most of that footwork for you with one or two people just watching to make sure everything is going smoothly and then reacting only when it's necessary. So I've set up these ones lots of times. It's fun. It's actually really fun to work with manufacturers and people setting up distributors. Say you're a feed supplement company and you rely on webinar events and live events on a consistent calendar. So you have on your out-facing side, you're pulling in the leads, and then you're nurturing them and you're inviting them to the most relevant webinar for them. So maybe in January you do equine, February is beef, March is poultry, and you have your automation set up to only invite a particular persona, a particular segment. And then you take them through the webinar, and then you ask if they want to meet with you and ask for the sale afterwards. So that is those are just a few examples. Every company can use it any way that they need. It's really the sky's the limit with marketing automation. So getting started, let's go get into like the nuts and bolts now. So you're going to need software, obviously. You need a good software that is well known, well used, good. You talk to other people who use it, and you're going to need manpower. I keep saying it doesn't happen by itself. You need somebody familiar with your company, familiar with your industry, to be driving this initiative in your company. And then you need a plan. You have to plan out from beginning to end. What do you need? What are these customer journeys? What's the goal? So what software is available? That's always the first question I get, and at what price? So social media management can be one of those things that wastes all your time or all of an employee's time. There are a lot of ways to really reduce that time waste. And one is with social media management software like Buffer. There are quite a few different scheduling tools. Buffer is a very good one. I use it for a lot of different companies, and it gives you the opportunity to sit down and make one post, schedule posts for as long into the future as you want, and have somebody sit down and schedule a week at a time, a month at a time, all of the holidays in January, and get them all set to just come out automatically. And then also get some feedback on analytics as well. So that is I highly recommend Buffer. And then Canva. Canva can save your company a lot of time. If you're still working in Photoshop or your team is working in Photoshop, I would suggest a lot of the easier social media graphics move over to software like Canva. It reduces a lot of, unless, if you have a graphic designer that's very used to, it can produce very quickly out of Photoshop, that's fine. But when you are really engaged in social media and doing it on a many posts a day, if you can, or at least once a day, you're going to need a lot of content. You need a way to do it fast. Canva can help you with templates and palettes, and it also has social media calendar as well. So you can schedule your content through Canva. Both of these have a smaller free option. And then their next option, I think both of them are $15 a month. And with that, you get a lot more features. And then they also have some pro accounts and enterprise accounts as well. I think generally you can get by with the $15 a month. Hootsuite is another one. It's a more expensive, has a lot of options, a lot of analytics as well. So great. All of these are great social media management. I would highly recommend considering any of those. Or say if you only have one or two platforms that you're using, you can use in-app scheduling as well. And you can do that Facebook allows you to do that. Twitter now allows you to do that with the paid, I think with the paid version though. So you can also schedule in there. It's not quite as efficient though as using one of the other tools. And I would say that you probably save the $15 a month in just a couple hours really of using it. So marketing automation and CRM. Now they are two very different things. They serve two different purposes, but they come together to serve the whole company. So I hear a lot about companies saying, well, we really need to look at a CRM, or I think we should get into marketing automation. It's my recommendation that you think of them together because they serve each other. The marketing automation serves your marketing department and helps that become more efficient. Your CRM should, if it's well done, should be creating an environment for your sales force to really succeed. And if you talk to salespeople, unfortunately, there have been so many poor implementations of CRMs that I've seen and that I've helped fix that it's just unfortunate. It leaves a bad taste in their mouth. So the days of sitting in your hotel room after a trade show for hours inputting your leads, those days are over. If you're still doing that, you need to stop doing that and talk to me, because there are definitely better ways to do it. You need a good CRM these days. And then your marketing automation works in tandem with your CRM, and it feeds the customers and creates a database for each customer. So what is the purpose of a CRM? A CRM keeps track of interactions with customers. It maintains and nurtures strong relationships with customers. It improves communication between departments in your company and increases profit by using time wisely and creating reliable systems for your company. So the problem in every company I talk to is the email problem. Everyone spends the day answering emails back and forth and back and forth. You can solve, I would say, 70, 80% of that email time wasting problem with a good CRM. And that's because people like to pass and ask questions back and forth and gather more information that way. And it always feels like they're behind, where with a CRM that's well planned, you can automate a lot of that entire process. I could talk about that for hours probably, but we'll move on. So what is marketing automation? Software designed to create a personal buying journey for your customers, like we spoke of before. reduces the time and effort spent on nurturing your customer base, and utilizes cookies and customer behavior to engage with each lead personally. So that's why it's important that your CRM and your marketing automation are married. We're going to talk about cookies a little bit later. It's also useful for project management and internal processes as well. So now is the time you need to identify your needs. Before you start shopping for your software, you need to identify the needs. What is your company size? A lot of times that will determine your budget and your needs. How many users do you need? A lot of these software solutions either charge by user or by lead. So you need to have both of those on paper before you start your search. And you also need to take a look at your budget. What can you afford? And then take a look at your website. Is it brochure style and simple, or is it e-commerce website? Will you want to integrate your website with the functionality of marketing automation, which is really, I highly recommend that as well. Especially, for example, in a farm to table situation where you're talking directly to the consumer. In those cases, it's great for seeing their buying patterns, building a file on buying patterns, and then also reminding when they need to stock up. So it's very good for those situations. And do you have a marketing team? As I said before, your team behind you is needed to drive this, whether you're going to have to hire somebody, use your existing team, or hire an agency to help you with this. It's pretty essential to have a good team and identify the team that you have and make sure they know their roles. So we're going to go through a few of the platforms that are available. So some people may know of Sendinblue. It's now called Brevo, and it's kind of one of the entry-level marketing automation platforms. You can send 20,000 emails per month, and you can have unlimited contacts. And it starts at about $65 a month. Now, this is, like I said, it's entry level. Get what you pay for. But you can send these emails. You can get them out. There's not a way to really integrate with your CRM easily. Never say never. Most of most of the software has open API, so you can integrate. But it really just depends on the fit with your company. iContact is another. You can. I chose 5,000 contacts because that's a good kind of middle number to start with. And then we have a benchmark to compare them. So 5,000 contacts starts at $65 a month. Again, this is, kind of basic, just get you started into marketing automation. Campaigner is another one I recommend. 5,000 contacts starts at $59 a month. And then there's MailChimp. I'm sure most people are familiar with MailChimp these days. You have the 5,000 contact plan starts at $69 a month. MailChimp is, I would say, probably the nicest email builder out there. Very, very good software. I don't like their automation. It's just not intuitive enough for what I like to build and like to see. But if your budget is $69 a month, I think in this plan, you get 4 automations. So if you want to start out small, try out MailChimp. It's not a full CRM. They do have like a CRM section, but it's not really something you can really grow and scale off of. But I do recommend it if you just need. It's probably my favorite of the low price ones for sure. ActiveCampaign is another one where 5,000 contacts starts at $105 a month, and they have a few more options to choose from. And then Constant Contact. With just Constant Contact, which is just the email platform, not the automation, it starts at $119 a month for 5,000 contacts. Now, if you want to have the lead gen and CRM added to Constant Contact, it was formerly known as SharpSpring. I've been a SharpSpring agency for a long time and was kind of followed this when Constant Contact acquired SharpSpring, and have been been all the way through this. This is the one I recommend. This is the software that has that balance of still a reasonable amount of money, plus you get the full CRM, plus you get full marketing automation, plus full reporting. To me, it's definitely the best value for what you get. And for 5,000 contacts, it starts at $5.99 a month. And you can pretty much stick with the $5.99 a month. A lot of them like to add little things. You can still add things to this one. But at $5.99 a month, you're going to get a very robust program. So we'll just keep moving up. Infusionsoft is another one, a good program. Automation is not quite as intuitive as SharpSpring, but it's a little less money. So 5,000 contacts is $309 a month. Green Rope is another one that I've heard good things about. I haven't used it, but I hear good things about it. It starts at $350 a month, and it also has some website building capabilities as well. Now we get into kind of the big shiny boys. The HubSpot is one of the most popular. And as you can see, it also gets a lot more expensive. So for 2,000 contacts, they don't have a 5,000 contact plan. It goes from 2,000 to 7,000. 2,000 is $899 or $890 a month. And then when you go up to 7,000 contacts, then you're going to get up into 1,100, I believe it is, for 7,000 contacts. It works very well. I still don't think it's quite as intuitive as some of the other programs, but you can really rely on how it's not buggy. It's just very, very well organized software. And then we go all the way up to the very top, Salesforce integrated with the add-on, the Pardot add-on. Their lowest package is 10,000 contacts, and it starts at $12.50 a month. And so you can see it really gets up there. So it just depends on the size of your company and kind of what the bells and whistles you want. So that's just a basic outline for you. So now we're getting into how they do it. So creating effective automated workflows. How do they do this automation? Well, it starts with cookies, and not that delicious cookie like that. Cookie is actually a small text file that's placed on a device after they interact with an asset, a digital asset. So what that means is, here's a screenshot I took to illustrate. So when somebody comes onto a website that is tracked with a marketing automation platform, a cookie is placed on their device. And then we have a lot of information that we can gather now. We can see what devices they're using, a PC, an iPhone. You can see if it was a Mac, we can see their operating system. We can see the resolution of their screen, what language they're in, when they were last tracked. So I guess it's creepy for sure. But every company is using this now, this technology. There's really no privacy. Don't even think that if you put in incognito mode, if you guys went into incognito mode and went on my websites, you're still going to be seen there. So there's incognito mode really just hides stuff from yourself. That's it. Not from the background. But if we use this technology, I'll caveat that too, that we can't see other things that people are looking at. You can only see if they're engaging with your assets. So it's not like I can follow somebody all around the internet. I'd have to have access to that website to see where they visited on that website. So what happens when there's a cookie on a device, this is why people recommend clearing the cookies on your browsers often, but then it forgets all of your passwords. So that's the balance for you. But so with these cookies being tracked on the devices, it now can automatically build a file in the CRM about you. And this is how when you're around the internet, it feels like people are following you and how they're offering exactly what you want. This is how they're doing it. You can see here that this person, I guess this was me, filled out a form, visited a web page, moved over in an opportunity pipeline, watched a video, watched another video, visited 2 more pages, decided to fill out a form, and then visited another page, shows the dates and everything, filled out a form. This form fill out must have triggered an email. You can see that I opened the email. I was sent another email. I opened that email. If I didn't open it, the envelope would be closed. So you can see that modern day CRMs do a lot more than just track a phone number and an email address. It's actually building a file. Like you can see here on this one, there's over 300 events that have happened here. And I have memberships in different lists, different automations here on this tab. This is just a screenshot I'd show you, but I can't click through there. And then I can also see how many seconds I was on each page down here too. So you can see how much information is gathered. And this is also why you need to have a plan as to the direction you want. So I could make an automation based on if I visited this page and that page, or if I visited this page, but not this page. I guess a good example would be if I was a tractor manufacturer and I came out with a new tractor, and in my CRM, I sent out an email about this tractor, and then people went to the website to take another look and look at videos about it. And then they moved to a different page and actually went and looked at a different tractor. Well, just by their behavior, I could have a text message sent to the sales rep in that person's area automatically saying, this person is interested in this tractor. So that's how for $5.99 a month, you can have that ability. It's actually overwhelming and amazing that this is reality today. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard that the future of cookies is a bit unstable because of Google. And what they're talking about is third-party cookies. So, you know how I said that I can't go out and see everybody's website, what everybody's doing, but I can only see my own? That's called a first-party cookie. What Google has done over the years is they've collected those cookies across the web and now can use your cookie over here to show somebody's interest over in Facebook. So that would be a third-party cookie. So Google's actually phasing that out. Now, what's alarming about that is that a lot of marketers have really relied on these third-party ads. So these ads that are annoying on Facebook and stuff, they're really cracking down on that. So what you need to kind of take away from that is that you're still going to keep your first-party cookies. So you're going to see what's happening on your website. They have the illusion of trying to be less creepy. I think there's probably just another emerging technology coming out. So it's probably not less creepy. It's probably more creepy. But so just stay aware of emerging technology and know that leverage your first-party cookies. And that first-party cookie is that permission marketing that I was talking about. You have permission to use these. Everybody has to have the cookie banner, and people have to click yes. And so you do have that permission. They fill out your forms. They're giving you permission to talk to them. So this more than ever, permission marketing is very, very important. So moving on, planning your company's automated processes now. So you start out by creating an Excel sheet or a workflow, and you start with what the problem is. So if you want to create a webinar, or if you want to create a drip campaign about a very complicated service that you do, you might want to drip feed that over time. Or you want to hold an open house, or you want to hold an event, or there's a million different ways to make automations, but you start with creating this spreadsheet, and then you document the path that your customer needs to take to make that purchase. So write down every every little benchmark along the way. What are the questions that they're going to ask along the way? That way you can be prepared to answer those within your drip campaign. What steps are needed along the path to make that sale, from marketing all the way to shipping. Like, don't just, when you're making this and investing in a new system, don't just think about your marketing department. Think all the way through your sales department, your shipping department, even your returns. Think company wide, because it's really, like I said before, it's the sky's the limit. You can create just about anything here, and you want to think about the whole company. And then what internal communications can be automated? So many processes inside your company can be automated. So if you have a product that doesn't sell a lot, but it takes special shipping, the person who does that job, it's a student job. So that place changes hands a lot. Well, you can have it automated that when that certain product sells, it emails your inside sales department, which gives the instructions for shipping that product, so that that person doesn't have to go ask somebody else. They get that instruction straight from an automated email. So I create a lot of internal communications that way. So the building blocks of effective marketing automation funnels. Now, these are really the nuts and bolts of technically what a marketing automation consists of. So this is all about personalization and customer engagement. So we start with pages. When you're visiting a website, you're going from page to page to page. Little do you know that those pages are made up of a lot of different building blocks. The pages often have forms in them, right? When you want to take action and buy something, there's a form. You fill out the form. But that form is actually made up of fields. And each of those fields gets recorded onto your personal file on a CRM somewhere. So you think about now, don't think about it as just a web page with a form. It's a page with tracking code on it. It's a form, but the form is made up of individual fields. The fields allow us to segment the audience. That segmentation is what drives automation. And then from the automation, we can send emails. From emails, we send them to pages. So you see how it's kind of a circle where we use these building blocks to conduct that business of marketing automation. Now, segmentation is how you divide your subscriber base into segments. Now, in agriculture, this is pretty simple. We can talk about our segments pretty easily. I remember one time at Canada's Outdoor Farm Show years ago, and I was so proud that we had new brochures, and we had a equine brochure, and we had a dairy, and we had a beef, and we had a goat brochure. And somebody came by, and the product was the same product. It was exactly the same product. It was just that the brochure had a different picture of a different animal using it. And those were my segments. Well, somebody walked up, grabbed a brochure, looked through them and said, "Oh, I guess they don't do pigs," and walked away. And I was devastated. How did I not think about pigs too? But people want to know that what you're offering is personalized to them, right? So had I had a pig brochure, I might have been able to grab them. Unfortunately, I was already talking to a customer, so I couldn't run after them. But it was a big lesson in segmentation. Everyone wants to know that the product you make is for them, right? My answer would have been, yeah, you just put a pig in it. It's the same product. But you know where I'm going. So how do we do that? So what a marketing automation combined with your CRM program can do is those fields that we just talked about on a form on a page. One of those questions would be, what's your industry? Or what do you grow? Or whatever that is. For this person here, it would be beef. So they would have chosen beef. So now we know that that is their segment. That's recorded on their on their CRM, when I send an email now, I can make a rule on the email that says, if they are in the beef industry, I want it to show this ad. But if on the CRM that field is dairy, I want to show this ad. If that field is sheep, I want to show this ad. That's the beauty of segmentation, is that I can send one email, make a rule, and it show different things. And this can be used, well, countless ways. Just the only limitation is your own imagination. So with automated email marketing, an email marketing strategy is, like I said at the beginning, is not about spamming people's inbox with boring trash or clickbait. That's not what it's about. You're going to get unsubscribed. An email campaign is the distribution of your company's clear message in relevant, easily digestible pieces over time, with great importance put on gaining new subscribers and culling the unengaged. So if people are not engaged, get rid of them. I do that. North American Ag List gets cleaned every few months, where people, if you're not opening the emails, you're not going to get the email anymore. I would rather have an engaged audience than have a lot of numbers in there of people that aren't opening my emails. Companies use this strategy because it is the #1 communication platform today. It's a high permission platform. And email marketing also helps you become cancel resistant. And every single one of us in this industry has to be focused on that right now. Facebook doesn't want us selling animals. Facebook doesn't want us eating animals. Google wants us to, start moving in some weird directions. If we want to reach our audience, we have to build a way around them and create our own audience that we own, that we have permission to email. So now is more important than ever to start building your list, because if somebody out of college at Facebook decides they don't like what you do, they can destroy you. They can close your page and you don't have your followers anymore. I've seen this happen to a lot of clients over the last few years. I've seen myself, I get suppressed all the time. If it wasn't for my email marketing, I would have a very hard time getting my message out. That's just the truth. I deal with a lot of agriculture policy issues on my podcast, and we get suppressed a lot. So without this email marketing strategy, I would be out there just talking to myself. So so think about that. Start developing a plan on how you are going to avoid being canceled as we go forward. So how do I know what worked? You have to measure the results. You have to have a plan. At the beginning, when you set up your plan, you need to decide, what do I want to see at the end? What are my goals? So you need to set up a software reporting schedule. You need to look at web traffic, your tracking, and your cookies. You need to monitor your spend regularly. All too many times I see a company just, responding to somebody calling them to say, do you want to market in this? Do you want to buy this ad? No, you have to decide the year before, figure out your budget, allocate that money. And I do have a webinar all about that. If you go on NorthAmericanAg.com, our YouTube channel, or just email me or message me, I can send you that one on how to prepare your marketing budget, and how to, I even have an Excel sheet you can download that can help you through that process too. But monitor your spend. Don't do knee-jerk reactions. Don't respond to fires. Monthly and quarterly checkups. Don't just set it and forget it. Your company evolves, so does your marketing. And especially with automation, because you don't see it running, you have to be very careful that things aren't being triggered accidentally. I've seen that a lot too, unfortunately. Of those going to your website, how many are contacting you? How many of those are making a purchase? So you definitely need to have a way to gather that information, because with that information, you can see if what you're doing is working or not. Always automate or ask the customer where they found you. That should just be a given. And what I mean by automate is that with marketing automation, it will know where it came from, whether it came from Google, whether it came from Facebook, it's going to know those things. And you can also, in your automations, in your marketing automations, set up rules that if they came from this page, it means that that page was being used for this particular trade show. So gone are the days that you come back from a trade show, you do 10 trade shows this year, and then next year the manager asks you, well, how many came from trade shows last year? Oh, I don't know. Now it's very easy to do that. You should be having a specific page, a specific form for each trade show. Take that page, create a QR code, and have a flyer or have cards you can give out. If you've ever met me at a farm show, you'll know I always have a card with a QR code. That way I know exactly where each person that I meet came from and whether it's useful or not to go back to that show again. So, and that's a pretty simple thing to set up. I set that up with a customer in about 10 minutes today. They already have all the software. I just had to walk her through it, but it's very, very, very simple once you're set up. So that's all I have to say about all of that right now. And here's a bit of a recap of what we went over. You've got a deep understanding of marketing automation now, what it does. We've talked about a lot of the benefits for specifically agribusiness. It's not just for other companies, it's for you too. How to get started with marketing automation and make some of those first decisions. How to create effective automated workflows and kind of what those building blocks look like. We've talked about personalization and customer engagement and the importance of data-driven decision-making. And so now, thank you all for being here. And are there any questions? All right, so I've got a question here. Is it possible to integrate software that I'm already using, like Google Docs and MailChimp? Yes, it is definitely possible, especially if you're using, say if you're keeping your database of customers in Google Docs. You can have an automation. You need a third-party software. I use one called Zapier. And you can, every time a row is added to Google Docs, it can be added to your MailChimp. So yes, you can definitely do that. I've got another question here. How many segments can be made and how do you decide? You could have as many segments as you want. Now, you could even have breeds of cattle. Now, I would say those wouldn't be your main segments. They would be kind of sub segments. And that's only because you want a segment to be your main segments, to be things that you would have deliver a different automated message based off of that. So yeah, so really just kind of plan out what different marketing messages you would have and then plan it that way. Anything else? What is the most complex automation you've created? That's a good one. I created one once that it was beautiful. Like it should have been put into like an art gallery or something. I think it was so beautiful. It was a company that actually did comedy tours, and they each segment could book the tour for their company. And it did all of the work from that first initial all the way through to closing the deal and it getting paid for. It was amazing. And it really just totally relied on that segmentation. Even the contract that was emailed was based on these dynamic features where if they were this, put this, if they were that, put that. It pulled in merge variables from different forms that they'd filled out over time. It was really beautiful. So yeah, there's not too many things that we've not been able to build. So yeah, here's another one. Do you know of any of the CRM tools listed if they integrate with Qualtrics? I don't know that. If you want to send me a message afterward at Chrissy at chrissywozniak.com, I'll look into that for you. There's a website I can look at to see if it does integrate. So just send me that question and I will look that up for you. Are there any other questions? All right, so we will close and we have one more thing. I guess I lost my display. That's okay. You guys can see it here. A special announcement coming in early 2024. We are going to be holding the North American Agri-Marketing Academy, which will be a course that will be a month long, one Zoom meeting a week with your marketing teams. We're going to have more information out soon about it. But in today's world where marketing and software is moving so fast, we feel that it's important to give options where we can train your teams. Not every company wants to have outside marketing agency doing the work. They would like to have that knowledge in-house. And so that's how we can help serve that. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out at any time, and you'll probably see some information about that as we go. And also just know that you can feel free, once you leave the webinar, you're going to be redirected to a page where you can book a free 30-minute one-on-one if you need more help or if you have specific questions about your company and you kind of want to talk that through. Absolutely no obligation. Obviously, just book this 30 minutes and I can go through kind of what my recommendation would be for your company. And if you are looking for contracting out work, we are available. And as I said before, we are an agency, a registered agency for Constant Contact and SharpSpring. So, well, it's not called SharpSpring anymore. It's just hard for me. I called it SharpSpring for 6 years, but now it's Constant Contact, Lead Gen, and CRM. That's a lot longer. But we can help you with that as well. So thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see you next time.